When are you coming home? For some, this is a question of utter dread. For others, it's a question of lament. If you're an expat or you've gone somewhere to live with your partner, be it another town, city, country, anywhere just far enough, your family and loved ones are probably wondering, hey, when is the next time you're coming home? In today's video, I give you my opinion on this as somebody who's living far away from home as well. Living here in Ireland, you hear these sentiments a lot. Irish people have emigrated to all corners of the globe. Don't need me to tell you that. Just look at the UK and much further off places like South Africa and Australia. You would read it every few months, and especially around Christmas time, about the families just trying to think, how am I going to make it home for Christmas, or will I even be able to make it? So for this video, I'm kind of neutral on it. I'm going to give you the reasons why, if you're in this position, you should and shouldn't. Let's start off with why you shouldn't. Now, why you shouldn't, pretty easy, right off the bat, the price. The further away you live, the more expensive it's going to be. You know, if you're lucky and you live fairly close, let's say, close to your family, like you're in Ireland and then families in the UK, that's easy. It's a fairly short flight. No, pretty short flight, it's about under an hour, give and take air traffic. And that is a situation where once it's under 2 or 3 hours, you could probably just pop back home pretty easily. It's within not too much of, hopefully, a different time zone, so the adjustment there is pretty easy. However, if it's further away, well, there you have a problem. In my case, getting back home to Barbados takes me about 9 hours, which isn't really too bad. It's pretty much going back into a time zone, and when that happens, the adjustment period is not that much. I can wake up early, catch on a plane, and then by the afternoon, boom, back in Barbados. The thing that's prohibitive about that sort of stuff, if you don't have to fly for let's go with 17 hours. Say you're here in Ireland and you've come from Japan. Yeah, that's a good 20 hours? That's at least a day. I don't know exact figures. Not from Japan. Haven't traveled to Japan yet. But that's what we're looking at. And in those cases, those longer distances, definitely prohibitive. For the Caribbean, if you live in a tropical climate, it's usually a holiday destination. To go back home, you may just be paying holiday destination prices. That's all. If you live in Hawaii, for example, hey, same thing. I don't know why I picked Hawaii, it just was the other island nation, well, not nation, it's part of the US that I thought of. And that's even if there's a direct flight to your country. I'm lucky with Ireland because at least you hop over to the UK and then the UK has direct flights. For those that have to take multiple flights and probably drives to get to the hometown, that's pretty out of the way. Now, if you're visiting your hometown or home country, you've probably lived there for a really long time. And unless it's some sort of bustling metropolis, you also kind of wonder, what exactly am I going to do there? There's some people who would have come from a smaller village and, if they're currently living in a big city, when they go home, besides seeing their family and friends, there may not be that much to do, especially in some cases where you have to travel a long distance. I've heard the correlation that somebody who's traveling a long distance, they don't want to go home for about a week. You would at least want to spend 2 or 3, and that's the challenge of what is it that you may want to do there? If you're know you're going to be bored there, then I can see why you wouldn't really want to do that. Another alternative might be you can meet your family or loved ones somewhere else where there's actual activities. For me, home is a tourist destination, so there's definitely usually activities. I like going back home now if I spend enough time. Hey, treat it like a tourist. I don't go back very often, but during those times it's like, ooh, what's there, what's new, what new attraction that is. So if you don't have that situation, it can be pretty boring to just probably go back to a small village where you don't have the access to amenities and activities that you would usually do. The third reason that you shouldn't go back home often is basically if you're a couple. I heard this from one of my teammates at my first job here in Ireland. I was recently married And she was saying just, a kind of piece of advice. Because she herself is living in Ireland. She originally come from Spain. And she was saying, don't use up all of your time or holidays basically just going back home to see the family. I think it was about to book a trip to Barbados. And she was just saying like, yeah, I know you're new to this, you just moved over, but you're going to want holidays to spend with your partner that aren't at home. And you always need to schedule those in. So, no, if you're going back home multiple times a year, your partner may or may not be thinking it, but it'd be nice if they really get some, just two of you all instead of just going to see family. Because if you are both in the situation where you both need to go to see family or friends and no one's living in the home country, there should be time in there that you make one of those vacations something just for y'all to do and have a new experience there. And they also shouldn't, related to the previous point, limited holidays. For most of us, if we're here living in another country, we're employed, that's what it is. If you like to be self-employed, then great for you, but the vast majority probably aren't, and which means limited vacation days. And it goes back to the point previously. If you've got limited vacation days, what do you really want to spend all of them going to visit friends and family? For some people, that's a yes. In others, if you're in a different part of the world, sometimes people want to see different things. Say, for example, let's go. You're in Europe, and you may just want to see around the world, around Europe, different places. It's only like, let's say, 1, 2, 3, maximum 4 hours flight to another destination. That's the sort of time that you would like to be probably seeing once you're here. Because, hey, if you're an expat, you're probably not going to be in the same location forever, and you don't want to be able to regret not seeing these things as well. So that's just another idea of, if you have limited vacation days, how you spend them is very key towards your happiness and having that feeling of not missing out and regret. So for everyone else who's been screaming at the screen right now, but none of these things actually apply to me, here's the list for the shoulds. And easily, you miss your family and friends. That's it. That's when you should go. The thing is that for the should nots, we all have different levels of missing, and some people want to, definitely see their family and friends a lot more often. Other people are, hey, I want to be there for the bigger events, which means probably going less. But if you miss somebody, get on that flight, take those vacation days, and simply just go. Nothing wrong with that at all, if that's your reason. But there's also, if you want to kind of stay connected with your culture. This is also if you may have a child as well. You might live somewhere far enough where you don't get access to the foods, the music, the vibe, any parts of the culture. So that's what you end up missing. Yes, friends and family may be part of it, but maybe you just want to be in the ambiance. There are a lot of people from the Caribbean who miss carnival time. It's, if your carnival time is around right before Lent and Ash Wednesday, you're there if you're in a more northern climate. Being cold while in the Caribbean, it's cooler, it's warm, it's hot, people are having a party. Some people definitely go back to their home countries specifically for some of these festivals. And for example, if you do have a child or you have your partner might be really interested in the culture, that's the reason. Just ask the wine. The wine just loves going to Barbados to get some of that beach in, as well as the food. That is a reason. Sure, wants to see the family, etc. But there's aspects of the culture, just the vibe, the chill, that is different, that you want to experience every now and again, and sometimes more often than not. This is my favorite reason for the should, and this is what I aspire to. When you just have the time and the expendable income to do it. That is quite simple. There are lots of folks that, you might have a good salary if you moved away and had the flexibility, time flexibility. It doesn't, matter to you to just spend whatever the price of a ticket is. You go home, you spend a couple of days, even just a week there, and you do that multiple times per week. Sorry, not a week, that's crazy. Multiple times per year. you get to see the festivals and all that sort of stuff. It doesn't really matter if that's how you want to spend the time, because as before, the price and the flexibility were two things that would have been prohibitive. You take away those things, then suddenly there's no reason not to. For me, here in Europe, but with the time and flexibility and the money, I would like to see several different places across Europe, visit a lot more countries in the Caribbean, because the crazy thing is that making these videos, I'm talking about the culture and stuff. Yeah, I've experienced Barbados a lot, but yeah, my family's also from Trinidad. There's family in Dominique, and I realized that, wait a minute, I can talk at length about one culture. I can even talk at length about Irish culture, but some of these other culture of countries near to home, I don't know. So those are part of the things that if you have the money and income, sure, go back home, go back to your home country, get and experience that as many times as you want. Now, I shared some of the shouldn'ts and shoulds of what if you should go. Yeah, those are the things I came up with, but now I'll tell you my personal opinion. I think it's really all down to the time and money. Make those decisions based on how much time or money you have. There is basically no ands, ifs, or buts about it. That, unfortunately, is the cold hard truth. If you can't spare the days or you can't spare the money, then whether you want to or not, that's what you have to go with. But that doesn't mean doom and gloom. I think that one of the biggest missed opportunities you have if you're living or working in another place is not experiencing that place. One of the things I remember is I was in university in the UK. For me, I've been to the UK before. For me, the idea of Europe is still pretty close. But say, for example, you're from a country from, let's go with Asia. For some people, this was going to be their limited time in and around Europe. Yeah, Brexit didn't happen yet, but there were people that were really excited, and they were in between the courses, cashing the Ryanair flights to go see different places that they never thought they'd see before. And I think that if you're in a place for a limited time, that is an opportunity that you would regret. So I think that when you balance those two, that really should be the choice as well. That's what I would honestly do and advise anyone in that situation. But my other, personal in-between suggestion is, that one should not always be the one going to the family. The family could come to you. And even if the family doesn't come to you, y'all could also meet somewhere as well. Plan somewhere to go. It's like, hey, well, I don't know. It's like you have some time here, I have some vacation time here. Why don't we go to this country and meet up? You get to see your family. May not get to see some of the friends there, but at the same time, y'all both get to experience something new. You get to see you get to see them and have a new experience, and you get to share new memories. I know lots of people, like to go back to their home places, and they have their memories of the tradition and the familiar. But what about those new experiences they can have where none of the family has been before? It's a weird idea, but I like it as a way of deciding, hey, we haven't seen each other, let's go have this new experience. Well, for me, that's basically, these are these things that I'm really going to try to do from now on, because, unfortunately I had the pandemic, so these things weren't really an option. But now that, everyone's kind of definitely feel the itch to travel again, just look at the airport lines coming up this summer. Those are going to be crazy again, I bet. Yeah, this is what we're going to do. But it's okay if you disagree with me or agree. Do tell me in the comments. Of course, I'm the rum, 1/2 of wine and rum. Wife and I, we talk about what it's like living in Ireland, coming from Austria and Barbados. So stay tuned for more videos. And of course, subscribe if you haven't already. And see you later. Bis später.